I will. Okay, so just take out vision, but actually, vision here is more important in this case for negotiation. Um, Basically, what is new? What does your opponent see? How does he see the world? What is their view upon the world? So what is their perspective on this negotiation? And when you're looking at perspectives, it's very important, first of all, to separate positions from interests. Um, what does that mean? A position could be very simple. Um, I am not going to sell you this item for any yen less than ichiman yen, right? So that's a position. So I want to have ichiman yen, and otherwise I will not sell it. That is a position. The interest is that why is ichiman yen so important to me? That's very interesting to know. Well,
Why do you switching from car to Ichimaye?
the car is basically okay. So when I talk about a car, it's
Your pitfall is example is page by page different. You explain the car, so yeah, and attendant is image of car. Okay, position is I never sell the car not more than 3 million, not less than 3 million.
right,
Buyer don't want to pay money for not more than 2 million.
right.
This is a position, right?
The position, yeah, those are two positions. 2 million, 3 million is a position. But where does it come from? What are the real interests behind it? I mean, the 2 million could be because actually this is what I have in my bank at the moment. This is what I can afford to pay for a car. But it could also be something completely different. Is something that my wife agreed to that we would spend on a car. That could also be an interest. So basically, you're going.
You want to say position and interest is different,
Yes,
right?
yes. Positions and interests are different. Positions is basically what do you say? Okay, this is as far as I go. Yes or no, or I'm not going to take any penny less than not going to pay any penny more than this amount, or I need to get this. This car needs to get a car stereo with a DVD player. Otherwise, I will not buy it. That
So it
is a
means
position.
that he get to know more deep about his interest.
Yes.
Maybe position will change.
Exactly.
Huh?
You need to know about somebody's interests in order to be able to change the position. So, for example, okay, can I talk about cars, or would I take another example? Maybe I should take another example.
Why?
I don't
Another
know.
example. Okay, go ahead.
Let's talk about bicycles and or okay, let's take the car. Let's take cars. So when you get a person into your showroom and you're a salesperson, then and you ask the customer, okay, so how much? What is your budget? And well, I don't know, but um, so you introduce a few cars and you show them a car and you like it and say, okay, so this car costs 4 million yen. He says, well, sorry, but I'm not going to pay anything more than 3 million yen. So that's final. Okay. So what you could do as a salesperson, you could say, well, I cannot sell you this car for 3 million. So maybe can you go to 3.8? And then the price, no, I cannot do that. Nothing more than 3. Well, maybe I can go to 3.2, but so basically what you're doing then is you're going to exchange positions, and it's an exchange of wills, right? But what you could do instead is looking and asking, trying to find out, okay, why is this 3 million so important to this guy? Is it really because that's just a position, but why is it important? Perhaps when you're negotiating with him and you're trying to figure out why the 3 million, you would figure out that actually he doesn't have any money lying around that more than in extent over 3 million. Now, you also, when you're looking at interest, for example, is that you know that he actually has he has a very large family. So what he is actually looking for is a large car, um, and he wants to spend 3 million. Now you may have an alternative car for him that you can introduce because you have a large family. So can I introduce a different car to you? And say, well, but it's still too expensive. All right. So in that case, you say, okay, well, 3 million if that's your bottom line. But instead of saying, okay, that's your bottom line, I look at the interest and say, well, you know what? I can sell you this car with financing. Then if I offer financing, all of a sudden this 3 million is not so important anymore, because the reason why he took the position was that he didn't study the alternatives, not the alternatives that were available to him, to actually give the option to buy a car that was beyond his budget. So if he happens to sell the car for 3.5, the amount that he was asking for, basically by looking at the interest, they came up with a creative solution that helped them to move the position. So instead of just going out and trying to win and trying to get a better price as a seller or as a buyer, by just butting heads and trying to fight it all out in a win-lose negotiation, because that's typically what it is, a win-lose negotiation, what you should do as a negotiator, what a Western negotiator should will try to do, is to look for things that are actually really important, that the real interests that are behind the positions, and try to fulfill those in a creative way. Because in the scenario that I described, actually the guy gets a car that's more suitable to him at a price that he wasn't able to afford, but by offering him financing, we both get what we want. I get to sell the car at the price that I wanted, and the other guy gets to drive the car, even though he doesn't have 3 million at the moment. But since he's on a steady job, he will be able to pay half off his financing within a year or two.
My simple question: you are saying separate position from interest means, first of all, forget position, much more focus on interest.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. So you are always going to figure out, why does somebody want this car?
Is this seller's position?
What is important in this car?
Seller's position.
Seller position might say, well, sorry, I'm not gonna spend more than 3 million, so no need to look at this car. So, well, okay, but let's consider this. I mean, it's a nice car, isn't it? So a good negotiator, as well as a good salesman, will look at interest. What drives people? What is important to people? And then see if there is maybe a better solution that is outside of the imagination of the buyer, but the seller may have a solution for you that will enable you to get something that is closer to your interests. So by doing that, actually you're creating value. You're creating value by actually exploring the interests of both sides. They can start to look for things that are very important for example, the seller, but not important to the buyer. So in that case, by giving in, by letting the